Not every question needs a voice to speak, nor every sign is made for those who seek. Is silence proof that we remain alone, or just the way the watchers make it known? Day 1. The disappearance, October 22nd, 2025. It slipped behind the flaming wheel, where light is law and stars must kneel. The sun devoured the watcher's eye, and Atlas passed where angels fly. The sun, sovereign tyrant of the inner system, swallowed Atlas whole in its glare. No signal escaped. Observatories fell blind. The comet, if it was a comet, entered solar conjunction like a thief vanishing into the vault of a temple. Astronomers noted the trajectory, yes, but some, those with memory long enough to remember the wow signal, felt a twist in the gut. Atlas had turned its face to the fire, and Earth was left watching shadows on the wall. Day 2. The signal remembered, October 23rd. A voice once cried from distant arc, a narrow band that split the dark. Now mirrored in this blazing thread, the word returns but not as said. In the SETI archives, an intern working past midnight reran an old frequency correlation against Atlas's trajectory. The result froze her blood. The path of 3I/Atlas intersected the coordinates of the 1977 WOW signal within a whisper of cosmic accuracy, just degrees apart in right ascension and declination. A fluke? Perhaps. But Loeb's estimate of a 0.6% chance loomed large. Had the signal been a flare from this very object? A marker dropped across time. The question spread like fire in the dry weeds of the internet. Day 3. The division of interpreters, October 24th. Some claimed it merely danced with chance. Some saw the shape of circumstance. But some beheld the shadow's frame and knew the silence bore a name. Lines were drawn. NASA issued careful statements, anomalous but not artificial. Others disagreed, citing the comet's early activity at 6 astronomical units, the unexplained radial emission profiles, the coherence of its venting jets. And then there were those who spoke in whispers, philosophers, theologians, Cold War relics who once drafted memos on alien intent. For them, Atlas was no rock or ice ball. It was a signature, a riddle in the dark, a doorway, just waiting for someone to knock. Day 4. The still sky, October 25th. No trace in light, no trail in fire. The void held breath. The stars drew higher. Machines still turned, but none could see what passed beyond transparency. They called it data lag, but it felt like ritual. Instruments kept vigil in quiet defiance, pinging coordinates they knew would yield nothing. Space agencies issued placeholder updates, awaiting reacquisition. But behind the screens, engineers grew silent, not out of boredom, out of the sinking sense that something deliberate was unfolding. Not failure, withholding. The sky became a blank shrine. The comet, if it was a comet, had taken more than light with it. It had taken certainty. And Earth for once could not tell if it was the observer or the observed. Day 5. The choice before the flame, October 26. If this be craft, then who are we? The seed, the snare, the absentee. The coin cast deep in stellar tide, or ghosts of what the gods decide. Governments convened, satellites were retasked, a probe was proposed, an intercept mission fast-tracked beyond all precedent. But behind these actions stirred a deeper debate. What do you do when the universe replies? If Atlas is a message, do you answer? If it is a probe, do you chase it? If it is a trap, do you walk in willingly? The world split, not along borders, but along epistemologies. Faith versus reason. Doubt versus fear. A mirror had been held to humanity, and its reflection was unsettlingly incomplete. Day 6. The days of blindness, October 27th. 6 nights the instruments fell dumb, no signal sang, no measure come. And men grew still in vaulted rooms, as if they sensed what silence blooms. Telescopes idled. Radar arrays stood down. The solar storm of coincidence, or maybe design, kept human eyes turned elsewhere. Inside data centers and government basements, something old stirred ancient SETI files, obsolete frequency charts, memos marked coincidence in red ink. One by one, theories crawled back into the light like long-banished gods. The scientists did not speak it aloud, not yet. But some began to feel the pulse of something unsaid, an orchestrated absence, a maneuver cloaked in plasma. Day 7, the Phoenix prepares, October 28th. Yet still it arcs through veil and fire, its orbit drawn by strange desire. We watch, we judge, we dare to stand before the work of hidden hands. Atlas continues its journey, not hostile, not welcoming, just deliberate, measured, unfolding its nature by stages, like a story whose end has already been written in the dust of stars. And Earth watches, not as an innocent, nor as a victim, but as something newly named. Something called. The last line of every report, every hypothesis, every broadcast, whispered the same unspoken word. Observe, decide, become. Day 8, October 29th, 2025. Revelation. The night grew still, the watchers held their breath, as if the sky might speak or hint at death. But nothing moved, save time in slowing rings. The hush before the breaking of small things. Now comes the turn, the moment drawn too wide. When knowing waits, and wonder will decide, it climbs the arc, this stranger, flame-defined. And all that's left to ask is what we'll find. This morning, for the first time in 8 days, 3i Atlas emerges from behind the sun. Its reappearance is not just an astronomical event, it is, for many, the closing of a parenthesis left hanging in the sky. During its through-solar conjunction from October 22nd to 28th, we have had nothing but silence, no data, no tracking, no signal. And in that silence, speculation has bred speculation. What returns today is not only an interstellar object, it is the sum of our uncertainties, poised to either unravel or deepen them. Prior to its disappearance, Atlas had already distinguished itself, not only as the third known object of interstellar origin, but as one with persistent and peculiar behavior. It activated early, well beyond the frost line, outgassing at distances greater than 6 astronomical units. Not gently either. The rate of its dust production rose steeply with decreasing distance, suggesting a volatility or mechanism uncommon even among comets from our own system. Its chemical signature, too, refused easy classification. Spectroscopic studies revealed strong nickel lines, unexpected at the distances and temperatures involved, and cyanide distributions with radial profiles inconsistent with standard sublimation dynamics. These emissions did not just appear, they bloomed outward with structure, with spatial coherence that unsettled more than a few who reviewed the data. There was also the matter of direction. Prior to conjunction, one of Atlas's jets was persistently oriented toward the sun, a feature which in itself is not unprecedented. But the consistency of that orientation, paired with indications of asymmetric thrust, prompted a quiet question to echo through observatories and forums alike. Was it adjusting? And then there is the angle, the orbital alignment that carries Atlas almost neatly along the ecliptic, the plane of our planets, rather than diving through it like a stranger in transit. And the deeper coincidence, troubling to some, tantalizing to others, the overlap between Atlas's path and the coordinates of the 1977 WOW signal. Not a match, but close. Close enough to suggest a pattern, or at least tempt the mind toward one. And all of this remains what it was, suggestive. But as Atlas steps back into view today, these are the variables observers will be watching closely. Does it still vent sunward? Has the orientation of its jets changed? Is the outgassing consistent with previous models, or has something shifted, subtly or sharply? Will its trajectory, once recalculated, still align with gravitational expectations? Or will a new discrepancy appear? The kind that can only be explained by forces internal, not external. And if we see something new, what does it mean? An interstellar object bearing anomalies is still an object, but anomalies that persist or evolve may not be merely physical, they may be behavioral, and behavior, as always, invites interpretation. What we call data may be only skin, a surface worn by what moves deep within. Do answers come in tones we've never taught, or were we never meant to be the thought? The silence there is not the void of night, but speech too deep for ears not tuned to light. We've watched the sky for patterns, signs, and mind, but now the sky turns back. What will we find? And lo, two voices cry, not to condemn, but wake the soul and summon light to men. What man calls random, God has placed with care. The tilt of rings, the song lines through the air. Each orbit drawn not blindly, but in flame, inscribed with law before the angels came. You've seen the signs that shake the frame, return again, and do the same.